Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new, I'm Nyx with Chromates Apothecary, and today I'm bringing you a tarot pick a card reading all about the next big changes that are coming to you in your life. So right now I have the cards that are going to start off your reading laid out before you. So we're starting on the far left side here with group number 1. These are all the Wild Unknown Tarot deck, but the indications that you're going to go for this time are going to be the different crystals that we have set out. So the first one is our Aura Quartz, and again, this is representing group number 1. Next, we have this Howlite representing group number 2. Then we have this Yellow Adventurine that's representing group number 3. And lastly, we have this pink agate crystal representing group number 4. So feel free to pause if you need a couple of moments. And then when you've made your decision, head on down to the description box below and then click on the timestamp that corresponds with the group that you chose. Remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more tarot pick a card readings in the future, and I will see you guys down in your readings. Hello, group number 1. If you chose the Aura Quartz as your crystal, then this is going to be your reading for the next big things coming into your life. And with this Aura Quartz, this can really help you in healing your physical and spiritual body. It can also really give just this new push of just like positive energy into your life. So we're going to set that crystal down right over there. And we're going to take these cards. These are the ones that I chose for you before I even started the video. And I have not looked at these, so these are completely new to all of us. There are 5 cards that we're gonna be laying out and reading from today. So we're first seeing the 4 of Pentacles. Next, we have the 8 of Swords. Then we have the Hanged Man coming out in the reversed position. The 10 of Cups in the reverse position. And lastly, we have the 2 of Cups in the reverse position. So what I'm kind of seeing in this situation is that there is going to be, I feel like, this sort of change specifically dealing with your romantic self and kind of the happiness that comes along with that. So what we're seeing right now is that there is the 4 of Pentacles here, which really shows some sort of sense of control and stability in your life. You are feeling this sense of security that really is making it easy for you to just go through life feeling as if everything is calm and everything is just sort of working out for you right now. But we are seeing a little bit later on that there's going to be a bit of an upset, and kind of how you approach this situation is going to be able to help you continue to navigate this sense of control. We always have different like ups and downs happening in life. So don't see this as like, oh, this is an end of a relationship or anything like this. I'm seeing this more as a way to just help guide you through this time. So next we're seeing in the 8 of Swords that this is indicating that there's some sort of restriction that we are putting upon ourselves. So this can either be you putting on a restriction on yourself or someone close to you who's putting on this restriction that it's directly affecting you. We're seeing here in the 8 of Swords that there is a little bit of isolation going on as well. You can see that the butterfly is all closed in up on itself and not wanting to fly away because it's nervous about these swords surrounding it. So again, this could be done in a way to maintain this kind of control that's happening, but it could also be so tight that there isn't a sense of like happiness or light spontaneity or anything, because it is just so tightly wound. We're seeing this sort of closed in on ourselves, also bleeding into the Hanged Man reverse. Maybe not so much on how the cards are traditionally seen as, but you can see that both the butterfly and this bat here are very much bound in on themselves. So it almost feels again like this isolation, and as if someone is pulling away. There's some sort of withdrawal happening in your life that's coming to you. And I don't know if this is just you withdrawing from the world around you or other people. I'm getting the biggest feeling of this as I feel like this is you. You feel like in order for you to have control of everything, is you need to pull away. Maybe you're going through this time span of just feeling really antisocial, and so you are trying to protect yourself by pulling inward. But with that, we're seeing in the Ten of Cups here is that this is very much a misalignment of things that are going on. This can be a broken home or marriage card. So if you are somebody who's in a relationship and you are pulling so heavily away, it could be that this is indicating some sort of bumpiness that's going to be happening in your relationship. Again, it doesn't have to be a like romantic relationship. With these cards and all of their strings going out to all the other cards, this just could be the connections that you have with people around you. So it could be that they are noticing that there's something going on that's not aligning you to your normal community that you spend time in, and they are seeing this sort of change from you. But for most of you, I'm seeing it as some sort of partnership. Because we have the Two of Cups here, this card is normally about being unified and really being together and understanding one another. But when it's reversed, it can indicate a breakup. So for some of you, this could be a warning of a breakup that's going to be coming to you. But for others, this could just be a warning that there's some sort of imbalance that's going to be cropping up and showing its head over the course of the next month or so that needs to be worked on. And this is great to know, because then you have your own game plan. You can kind of know how to act. If you're someone who can sometimes find yourself get pulled in too tightly when you need to withdraw from the world and think about things, and you won't let anybody in, that can truly damage your relationship. So maybe this will help indicate I need to remain a little bit open to people around me and not be so closed off, so they can get in and I can let them in on my life, so I can make sure the course of this goes the exact way that I want it to be. Obviously, for some people, this could be them being the sign that they need to break off a relationship, and they're like, good, because I don't want this. If I can't be my true self, if I need to pull away from the world and it's not hurting me, then it shouldn't be bothering my partner, kind of thing. Obviously we don't want to be completely cut off from our partners, but I mean, if you're somebody that needs to say your partner always likes to be out in other people's business and partying all the time, and you're like, I need to be home and chill, and they have an issue with that, maybe you're like, well, screw that, you go find somebody else, kind of thing. That's not bothering me. But for some people, they're not going to want this sort of breakup of a relationship or something. So this is just here to help you a little bit. So don't take it too seriously, just use this as guidance. So can we get a little bit further into this? Can we get some messages for group number one on what it is that's coming into their life, this big change that's happening, and how they can navigate it? Let's see if we can get some advice for group one, please. First, we have the Five of Wands coming out, and really in this card, it deals with some sort of conflict. There's some sort of either tension that's happening or some disagreements that are going on that maybe you are just done and you don't want to have this sort of relationship that's happening. Yeah, we're seeing in the Ten of Wands as well that this comes out at a time where there is you taking so much on yourself. Like you are having to carry all of the burdens, and maybe you're just getting to the point where you are just feeling completely like um, just not yourself, and you're feeling very much like you're not having any fun anymore because you are working just so dang hard. Yeah. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting the feeling also this could be you possibly avoiding a situation. You're avoiding a conflict maybe for right now because you're not sure how you want to proceed, but it's kind of coming out as this is a turning point in your life. So there's something that's coming that it may seem negative, but it's a turning point of your life that's going to turn into a positive. So for some of you, you could have already gone through this. For some of you, maybe in your past, things happened and you were really shut in on yourselves and you broke apart a friendship or a relationship that was very intense, and you're still dealing with the original conflict of that. You're still dealing with that the part that you played in this sort of situation. But I am seeing this as your chance to kind of have this newness, this renewal in your life. And for others, this is going to be about what you're going to go through very soon. But this card is here to say, like, I have your back. It is the Destiny card. It is good luck and karma. And it's really here to show you that your life cycles happen and you do go through similar things, and it's letting you know that this needed to happen basically to go forward. So let's pull some messages for beyond this moment. So what are some things that group number one can look out for? What's happening beyond this situation? We have the Nine of Pentacles, and in that card, we're seeing just this sort of like almost you having this like gratitude about you. Like you are thankful that this situation has ended. You are very much kind of, this gives me the feeling of like you're spending a little bit more on yourself because you're like, you know what, I'm worth it. Like you're putting in this self-care that you need from this situation. I'm seeing you being able to invest a little bit more in on yourself because you have taken care of what you needed to take care of in order to come to this point where you can feel strong either by yourself, or if you stay in this relationship, if this is not something that's overwhelming you, you are going to be able to push past this by making sure you take care of yourself as well. For some of you, I'm seeing that you're taking on so many burdens, and that's why you have this stability. But because of that, it's making you shut yourself away, which in turn is causing imbalances in your partnership. So you need to be open about them needing to take on responsibility for you to feel good and for you guys to continue in your partnership without breaking up, kind of thing. That this is indicating that beyond this point, you are going to be able to take care of yourself more. I forgot to bring that up before, so I wanted to make sure I said it before I forgot about that as well. We're also seeing in the King of Swords in the reverse position, just to make sure that you are in a situation where neither yourself nor the person that you're thinking of is being manipulative or being abusive, kind of thing. You want to make sure that you are going about this in how the King of Swords generally is seen in the upright position, which is with full truth and with clear thinking. So just try to avoid, if you are somebody who sometimes will say things that can come across as manipulative, make sure you watch how you word things. But for most of you, obviously the opposite is true. Make sure you are allowing other people to try to take control of your life, especially if it comes to a point where you do want to break up with somebody, and they're trying to say little jabs and stuff. Don't stand for it. Do not allow that to continue if it is not safe for you to be in that relationship, and if it's something that you truly no longer want in your life. And believe me, being in an abusive relationship, you sometimes don't notice that it's abusive until somebody tells you that it is. So you have to be very careful when treading this. So I would say, look to other people. Try not to be isolated and closed in on yourself. Look to other people for advice as well. We're also seeing in the Six of Swords that there is, this is very much a situation where it's a necessary thing that you have to be going through, but you wish it wasn't so. Like, you are sad to leave behind the thing that this is about, but it is needed for you to grow further in the future. So truthfully, for some of you, if not most of you, this is you needing to leave some sort of relationship, whether it is a family member who you have needed to cut out of your life for so long and you just haven't, or it's a friendship that was so intense that it feels like a breakup, or it's an actual real romantic breakup kind of thing. I feel like there's something where you need to cut somebody away from your life, and it's a very hard decision, but you are getting to that point where you're seeing that, yes, this absolutely needs to happen, because there's some shadiness that's going on, and you need to take control of this sword, cut away from the bonds that you have with this person, and leave them in the dust. That's the vibe that I'm getting for some of you, absolutely. I'm going to pull just a couple more cards in order to get some last messages for you. And then we will end the reading for today. Any last messages for group number 1? We have Comfrey coming up, which says root down to rise up. So really grounding yourself during this time is going to be extremely helpful. Knowing, I'm getting this weird message. Maybe it's just because I've been gardening a lot, but whatever you have in the soil that is feeding your plants is the direct contributor to how the quality of the plant is when it blooms. So whether it is fruits, vegetables, flowers, anything, or you yourself as a person. If you are rooting where you live, what you eat, and everything in negativity, in things that are bad, you are going to rise to not as high as you could. You're not going to bloom as beautifully as you want to, because of the things that you are keeping around you. I tried to start this reading with, oh, it's nice and positive. This doesn't necessarily have to be a breakup, but now it's getting to the point where it's trying to show me, like, I feel like that if you know that you're surrounded by something that you don't want in your life, you don't want for your future, you really have to feed yourself positive things in order to grow further, more beautifully, stronger, brighter, all of those things. So it's really trying to indicate that you do have to make a direct change. We are seeing in Heart that this says gratitude and compassion. So maybe carry this gratitude and compassion for yourself. We're seeing in the Nine of Pentacles that you will have gratitude as well when you do have this turning point in your life. But I'm also seeing this as you don't have to like leave a relationship with like hatred, with anger, with bitterness. In fact, being able to pull away from a situation with as much dignity as possible is probably the best for most people. Sometimes there are things that are very hard, and you obviously can't exit in that way. But I do think having the gratitude and compassion, not only for yourself, but also for what it is that other people are going through, can really help you ground yourself a bit more during this time. Can we get one more message for group number 1, please? We also have fireweed. So we're seeing here, it says ignite new possibilities and adventures. So this is, you're the ignition point. You're the person who's going to make this change, and you're going to bring about these new possibilities and adventure into your life. So I really do see those things for you. I do see you as being the person who's going to take yourself out of whatever the situation is in order to provide for your future. I'm actually going to pull 2 self-care cards. I initially wasn't going to, but I do feel like you kind of need it. So I'm going to pull 2 of these. The first one we have coming up is rest. So if you are somebody who does not get a lot of rest, please, 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 during this time, make sure you get plenty of sleep. I do believe that it can help clear your mind a lot. I think that there's just a lot going on, and you resting is really going to just make your decisions come to you a lot easier, and also help balance your emotions a lot as well. Most of us do not get nearly enough rest, and I feel like for some people, they need to just hear it. They need to hear, like, listen, you need to go to bed. Like, watch this, if it's late at night, watch this video and then go to sleep. Take a nap. If you see it right when it comes out, just sleep. We're also seeing, write a gratitude list. So we're seeing lots of indications of gratitude in this reading. So if you're somebody who hasn't done this before, it's really good practice to get into, where each day I just like kind of jot this down in my little like to-do list stuff at work, is that I will write a gratitude list real fast, where it's like, I just pick 3 things that I'm grateful for that day, and then I just put it in there. And it's just kind of there to help remind you of like what it is that you have in your life and why you are so grateful for those things that are in your life. Because if you're somebody who, say you have a relationship, but you're saying things like, I'm grateful that I can have hobbies away from my partner, or I'm grateful that I have such a close group of friends that I can spend time with, and like stuff like that, where it's very obvious that your partner's not part of that, maybe it's indicative of something else. Like maybe you need to do a little bit of healing, like how the Aura Quartz like let us know is that you do need to heal a few things in your spiritual self, and I think maybe that's indicative of that. I'm also going to roll this Astro Dice a couple of times for either your zodiac sign or the person that you may be in a partnership with, or friendships, anything like that. The first thing we have coming out is Capricorn. So you could be a Capricorn, your sun, moon, or rising, or theirs. We also have Cancer coming through. And lastly, we have a Pisces coming through as well. So I'm going to set that right there. And then I'm going to pull just one final card for you guys. So this here is just affirmations, just one last little message, please, for group number 1. I'm going to be going through it, so let's leave them with something that they can help brighten their life a bit. This card here, oh gosh. So this card here says ever expansive, infinitely deep, and it has different points where it's saying you. As soon as I saw it, I like chuckled, because I immediately thought about this being like, be selfish. Like, this is about you. This is not about you trying to people please or trying to make other people, like, obviously making other people happy is the same thing as people pleasing, but like, this isn't about you needing to worry about how other people feel. I really think that you need to do exactly what you need in order to be able to grow. Like how this one here is the root down to rise up, and the ever expansive thing. I think that to get to that point, you really have to take steps to change things in your life. You need to have this Wheel of Fortune moment, this turning point in your life, in order to just blossom even more and really change about your future. honestly. So if you liked this reading or it resonates with you, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more tarot pick a card readings in the future. And also, if you would like to, feel free to leave a green heart emoji in the comment box below to let myself and others know that you did get this far in your reading. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Hello, group number 2, and welcome to your reading all about what it is that's coming into your life. So if you chose the Howlite crystal, then this is going to be your reading for the day. And the cards that are underneath are all ones that I chose prior to the video starting, but I am going in just as blind as you are. I have no idea what is under these cards, so we're going to be learning about this reading together. And with this Howlite, this can really be here to help when you are feeling super overworked. And it can also help bring new ideas into focus and give you like some artistic clarity when it comes to certain things that deal with these new ideas. So if you are somebody who's just got a million ideas a minute kind of thing, hopefully we can kind of hone in on a bit more instead of feeling like we're pulled in multiple directions. So we're gonna get started with the reading with the Emperor in the reversed position. Next, we have the Five of Cups. We're seeing the Page of Cups in the reversed position, the Page of Swords, and then lastly, the Tower in the reversed position. I'm actually going to shift these all over just a little bit. And I got hit with a very intense message, and this is going to be just for some of you because like obviously each reading is completely generalized kind of thing, so we have a lot of people from a lot of backgrounds that are seeing this, but for some of you hopefully this is not a super touchy subject, but I'm really getting this feeling like someone has lost a father. This is not something that I'm seeing as in like a future thing that's happening. Like, I'm not saying suddenly your dad's just gonna drop after you watch this video. No, not at all. We're not claiming that here. I'm seeing this as somebody who's already lost a father, and I'm specifically getting like a daughter vibe. Obviously, we have two of daughters, but I'm seeing someone maybe who is more like female identifying, who has lost a father, or someone who you could be male identifying but have like female traits. But I'm seeing that kind of thing where something happened where your father was taken from you, and with the Tower reversed here, this is very much about like a crumbling from the inside kind of thing. So it's something that suddenly happened that made a change happen in your life. And so for some people, like obviously this is not going to be everyone, but I did get a very strong feeling the moment that I laid these cards out that was a feeling that I had for someone, that this is kind of going to be obviously hard to watch, but it's also going to be, you have to kind of parse through the things that I'm going to say because I'm not going to be focusing on that part of the reading, but this could be indicative of your reading as well. So we're going to get into how I'm actually seeing this for most people, which with the Emperor in the reverse position, this could be indicative of a time where there is too much control happening. So you are either going to be going through a point where you are just holding on so tightly, or someone around you is being very rigid and very inflexible and not wanting to allow much in the way of progress or movement. And we're seeing that coming out in the Five of Cups, that there's going to be a loss of some sort because of this. And again, that was also why I was pulling that it feels like a father figure who was lost, was because the Emperor is a male figure generally speaking, and this card here deals with loss, deals with regret, and disappointment and it deals with despair. It's really about grieving something in some way. So there is a possibility that there could be either a loss of a friendship, or there could be a loss in another way that is going to cause this sort of despair. This could be something like a job. This could be something like a breakup of a friendship or a relationship as well. But we're seeing here in the Page of Cups reversed that there is some sort of creative issue, like creative block that's going on, to where it could be a loss of you not being able to get in touch with your creative side, and that's what's making it very hard for what you're focusing on now to take flight, is kind of the vibes that I'm getting. We're seeing in the Page of Cups this sort of also being very rigid, and I did want to point back to the howlite that we have, with how this can really bring about artistic creation and inspiration. So that would be amazing if it is needing a breakaway from our ability to create again, kind of thing. So it'd be good for that healing to come. But we're seeing right now that there's almost this feeling of being stuck. And it can also come about as there could be some indication of emotional immaturity as well, where maybe we're acting out from how we would normally act because of this loss, this pain that we're feeling. We're also seeing the Page of Swords in the upright position, that this could be that there is a lot of movement that's happening, and this card can also indicate it's like a I'll talk but no action kind of thing. So it's saying oh, I'm gonna do this, this, and this, and then those things don't get done, and you're sitting there being yeah, ignore all that kind of thing. So again, if you're somebody that gets pulled in a bunch of directions, maybe try to settle on exactly what it is that you truly want to do, instead of saying all the things to everybody, so then people around you aren't like, what the heck, what's going on? But we are lastly seeing in the Tower reversed that this card can really be you being afraid of some sort of change that's happening in your life. So with it all together, I'm getting this vibe that for some of you is that you are really stuck in this place where you feel this loss and you feel this despair, as if you can't get in touch with yourself. And that is causing you to really be scattered, a lot of this scattered energy. You're not sure what path to take. And because of that, there is this Tower reverse that's coming out that's showing that you're trying to avoid some sort of disaster. You're trying to avoid this change from happening, but I believe that there is going to be an inner change that happens within you that is going to, hopefully, we're hoping it's going to help you. But I think for right now, you're just in that fear stage. I think that you know all this. I'm getting this feeling like you all have been sitting in this for some time, and you know that something internally does need to change, but you are obviously afraid of it. You're afraid of it bringing you more despair. And you are definitely hurting because of it. So let's see if we can pull some more cards for any further messages about this. What can group number 2 do to help themselves through this, or can we get more clarity about this? So we're seeing the Knight of Wands in the reverse position. And with this card here, again, this is more indication of that scattered energy. It's about wanting to move at a very quick pace, but you can't quite get through. You can't make progress because of your haste. and that how you are aligned to one thing. I'm also like super jittering my leg right now. Like it felt like anxiety. Like I was sitting there doing this like with my leg kind of thing. So I'm feeling a lot of this panic almost that's coming through. The card can also indicate delays and frustration. So again, you could be very frustrated that you can't tap into this creative inside you, and it's making things, making you panic a little bit. We've got the Knight of Swords coming out, which is another haste kind of card, but it's done in a way that is you taking on actions in order to get things done. So it's a more positive haste card. It shows that you're very communicative, that you're trying to get your ideas out there, you're trying to get things aligned and worked on. And then also it can be very opinionated too. So if you have opinions that you need to share, make sure that you don't keep them hidden. Make sure that people know what you're thinking, because I think that can really help point you in the right direction. As you can see, like all of the creatures that are in this card are all pointed towards the right way. There is that quick movement of this card that's being shown. So I do think it's trying to show that you can push forward and make this like new headway and make these changes in your life, because we're also seeing the Devil in reverse come out, and this card here can really be about you breaking free from this past pain or thing that you used to go back to, kind of like someone who's addicted going back to something over and over again, or someone who delves into escapism. This can be you breaking away from all of those things and reclaiming your power, where you're going to be able to take control of your life again. You're not going to be waiting on other people. You're going to be the one that's deciding that you need to make this change, whatever this change is. We're also seeing in this card that there is some sort of detachment happening. So you are either detaching yourself from someone or something that is causing you all of this strife, or you're detaching yourself from the grief that this caused, because we all feel grief in different ways, but I think you're getting to this point where you're kind of severing that bond that grief can sometimes have, that holds us in place where we cannot do anything more. It can be so hard to know what path to follow or what to do if you are currently suffering. And so for you to be able to break away from that is going to truly help you in the end. Obviously, you're still going to feel the grief, but I do believe that you're going to make steps that are going to be more positive in your life. And I'm going to shuffle this real fast and then fix my feather. But I'm going to pull a few more cards for advice. So what's some advice that we can give group number 2? Some things that group number 2 needs to hear during this time. We have the Hanged Man that fell out in an odd way. With it falling out in this way, I take this as like a blocked card where you're kind of stuck in this way where it's not quite upright and it's not quite upside down. So it kind of feels like you have the power to change it whichever way that you want. And with this card here, it's like the Hanged Man is generally a need to let go. There's some sort of restriction that's being imposed, and you need to release it in order to make these changes. It can also indicate, when it's upside down, a delay or an indecision. So I really think that this is here to let you know that you're the person that has to decide which way you want to go with this. That's kind of the message that I'm getting. Not so much even dealing with what the Hanged Man normally means, but I think you needing to make a choice is really what it's showing. We also have the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse position. Sorry, I almost dropped a whole bunch of cards. And then we are also going to pull a few more. I want two more, okay? We've got the Four of Pentacles. One more, please. And the Nine of Wands in the reverse position. So I'm seeing this Ten of Pentacles as this card is sharing with me that you need to be careful of your finances, because this can indicate a loss of finances, but it can also indicate a loss of just any sort. So I think that there is a need for you to just be careful right now with money. It can also indicate loneliness. So again, if you are pulling away from something or someone, you could be feeling loneliness, and it could be just trying to let me know that that's like a thing that you're dealing with. So advice wise, make sure that you really work on putting away money for yourself, and make sure that you take care of any bills that need to be taken care of as you find out about them. This card also, when it's in the upright position, can deal with things like inheritance from like family. So again, that message that I was getting from someone where someone passed, if this was a more recent thing, it could be that you are getting an inheritance and you're seeing that, or for you to be careful with your inheritance money is another message that I just want to cover all my bases. We're also seeing in the Four of Pentacles here that this comes out when there is a need for control and stability. So be conservative with your spending. Make sure that you are very careful about where you're putting your money, and investing in the right things, because we definitely don't want to see any sort of loss. But I do believe that it's coming out to let us know that you are going to be in control of your finances, but it is just, again, trying to help curb this Ten of Pentacles here. And then lastly, we have the Nine of Wands in the reverse position. And it's there to let you know to just be careful of being on edge. Try not to be defensive, and try not to be paranoid about what's going on around you. This card here is, when it's upright, is normally someone who's very courageous, very, very resilient. So try to bring that into your life a bit more than leaning on the things that have you worry constantly. So I'm going to pull just a few more messages for you. The first one we have is Weeping Willow, which says, find sanctuary within turbulence. So if you are going through a loss of any kind, make sure that you do find that peace that can bring you back to a sense of being normal and having a routine and everything. Something that makes you feel peaceful and really that you can cling on to during this time. We're also seeing Leo, which is saying creative, vibrant, and leader. So it's trying to let you know that these are the traits that you need to be pulling into your life during this time. Obviously, it could be that you have a Leo in your life, or you could be a Leo, sun, moon, or rising. Same thing with Virgo. You can have a Virgo in your life, or you could be one. And it says supportive, reliable, and meticulous. So it could be that those are some traits that you need to hold on to during this time in order to navigate this situation that you're going through. Next, I'm going to pull a couple of self-care cards. So let's see, what can group 2 do during this time to kind of help them out a bit. I'm going to pull both of them right now because I really am feeling it. So the first one we have is Sync with the Moon. And we also have Plan a Vacation. So with sync with the moon here, um, definitely maybe look up times where you can um, use the different phases of the moon in order to release whatever grief or loss that you have in your life. Not in a way where you're like being super negative about it or anything, but just kind of trying to slowly let go of the grief that you have in order to make room for things that fill you up with more positivity and happiness. We obviously don't want to forget about certain people in our lives that we may have lost, but we also need to know that we have to move on with ourselves as well. And so I think taking the time to do little rituals where you can either honor someone or you can release pain that you felt from before can really help you break free. Like this moment here where we have the devil in the reverse position, being able to break free from this past like hurt, this inner turmoil that we're seeing from the tower. And also we do have planification. So this is trying to show you like, hey, spend a little bit on yourself by working toward planning a vacation. Obviously, we don't want to be spending the money during this time, so just make sure you know plan isn't that word. Just something for you to look forward to. Try to think of something that you've always wanted to do and try to put your money toward being able to go on that vacation when you feel like you're in a better headspace or you've worked out of this situation kind of thing. So you do have something to look forward to as well. And then I'm going to roll this Astro Dice for any last like zodiac signs just to see if we can get any further messages. The first one we're seeing is Sagittarius, so this could be your sun, moon, or rising, or someone important in your life during this time. Next, we have Sagittarius again, so this is really indicating to me that you are possibly a Sagittarius, or maybe you lost a Sagittarius. So just to be careful, that's definitely a thing to note, the fact that it came up twice out of 12. And then lastly, we have Pisces coming out. So I'm going to set that there. Also with Sagittarius, they're very independent and very, very like, I would like to say like feisty or fiery, but they're also known to be extremely adventurous. So this plan of vacation could be like just music to your ears if you're a Sagittarius and you love traveling. And we're going to pull one last message for group number 2. This one here says absolutely nothing. So I'm getting a couple of things from this. The first one that I'm getting is like, for some people, you're like feeling nothing. Like it almost feels like you're kind of in this state where you almost are seeing like things around you as like what's the point kind of thing. So for some of you, I am seeing that as more of a negative thing, and we need to work on being able to recognize all of the things that you have in your life that are positive and that are attributing good things to you. On the opposite end of things, and this can be helpful for people who believe this that way as well, is when you have absolutely nothing, it means that there could be infinitely anything. So kind of imagine like a blank canvas and you walk up to it. What are you going to paint on there? It can be anything. You have no restrictions. You can use any sort of artistic tool that you want in order to cover this canvas, in order to transform it in whatever way that you want to. And you are not being held back or restricted in any way. So try to see your life and your future as that canvas. Despite what you may have had happen in your past or what's happening currently that is going to be coming in and changing your life, what can you leave behind from that to not have restrictions in order to build upon this new future? That's the feeling that I'm getting when I see this card. So if you liked this reading or it resonates with you, remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more Tarot Pick-a-Card readings in the future. And then also, if you feel safe to do so, leave a plain emoji in the comment box below to let myself and others know that you did get this far in your reading. I hope that you are able to heal. I hope that you're able to grow through this and really make decisions that you need to make in order to have a more positive future and a positive outcome because of this situation. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your reading all about what it is that's coming into your life. So if you chose this yellow adventuring, then this is going to be the reading for you. And with this yellow adventuring here, this is really about filling yourself with like compassion and understanding, or bringing that into your life. It can really help with alleviating grief and being able to center and control your emotions going on in your life. So if that's something that you have been needing, it is going to be there for you during this reading. Also, this is the Wild Unknown deck, but I have chosen these cards prior to even making the intro video. So I chose them by shuffling, have no clue what's going on in these cards. So this is going to be completely blind to the both of us. So let's get started. Firstly, we have the Knight of Wands coming out as your first card. Next, we have the Ten of Swords. We have the Fool, the Eight of Wands, and lastly, we have the Nine of Wands in the reverse position. So I'm getting some like pretty clear messages that there's going to be something that comes into your life that is going to really, for some of you, it's an epiphany moment, and for some of you, it is a forced realization that is going to help you start a new journey. That's kind of the initial vibes that I'm getting from this. So we're seeing here in the Knight of Wands that there is going to be this intense passion and energy that's being pushed into your life. Either it could be that this is specifically indicating you, that you are something who's very adventurous, who is very action oriented, where you just go, 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 go kind of person, to the point where you could almost be impulsive because you do jump forward so readily. It could be that this is also something that's coming into your life, or a person that's coming into your life that is like this. And sorry if you just heard me burp, sorry. We also have, however, next to that, we have the Ten of Swords. And in this card here, there is going to be some sort of loss that is happening. The way I'm seeing this is, for some people, this is going to be like a loss of a person, whether they leave your life because you like put up boundaries and you like say like, you can't be in my life anymore, because we're seeing this as like a being backstabbed or a betrayal card. So it's a betrayal of some sort of trust to where you completely get rid of them, or some other loss in some way. Or I'm specifically seeing this as an ending to one thing and a beginning to another, because of the fact that these cards are right next to each other. I'm really seeing this almost as you had your time and energy and love and passion and everything that comes from the Knight of Wands put into this thing, and it just didn't work anymore. So I'm kind of getting like some sort of heartbreak, as in like maybe even potentially like a relationship kind of thing, like a romantic relationship. And there needs to be a door shutting in order to start a new journey. So I don't know if you have already been through this, like if this just happened to you and this is kind of like the aftermath of this, or if this is about to happen to you kind of thing. So just whoever, whatever that resonates with you, just take it as it is. Next, we're seeing the Fool. Again, this is beginnings. This is a free spirit, somebody who's just really willing to go with the flow, very spontaneous, very happy to start this new journey, and very innocent. So kind of a little bit this feeling of the Knight of Wands, sort of that same movement drawn into the Fool, where there's this passion and there's this excitement and happiness and everything that we are seeing going into this new journey. But there's going to be some sort of ending or betrayal prior to that. So just keep that in mind. If this hasn't happened yet, hopefully this can help you navigate your life a little bit more through this tough time in order to reach a bright future and a free spirit with this Fool moment. Next, we're seeing in the Eight of Wands that there is going to be a quick change of some sort. This is very much the like strike while the iron is hot kind of card. This is very fast paced, intense movement. Again, a lot of action. And it can also indicate even some sort of like air travel. So potentially going on a trip, maybe there is moving of some sort, like maybe you're moving house or something like that, and you need to fly to get to your destination, things like that. But for most people, I'm obviously seeing this more as there's gonna be some quickness happening. So it almost feels like it's like boom, 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 boom kind of thing. It feels very quick that these things are happening in your life. And next we're seeing in the Nine of Wands in the reverse position that there could be this feeling where you are a little bit on edge and maybe a little bit defensive. It could be that you're nervous about going on this new journey because you're nervous about what has happened in the past. And so you're very scared and hesitant to push forward into the future. This card can also indicate paranoia. So if you are somebody who is easily nervous about things going on around you and you can get paranoid very easily, try your best to really alleviate yourself and allow yourself to focus on you instead of being involved with multiple people, especially during this time. Like try not to be too involved in like the inner workings of like your friends' lives if you can't focus on your own and feel okay in your own, because like that could possibly invite more issues in. Obviously, I want you to still have support from your friends, so don't think that this is like haha, isolate yourself until you're better. I don't believe in that sort of thing, but I do think that if you normally feel weird around certain types of people and you are afraid of how they feel about you, maybe just pull away from those people until you feel more centered, just in case. So that's a message for just some of you. We're also, I just wanted to also point out with the Yellow Adventuring, again, this is coming out to really center on your emotions and heal grief. So just so you know, it is here to help guide you throughout that. So we're gonna go ahead and shuffle a few more cards. So can we get any more indication of what it is that's going to be coming into group 3's life? Can we figure out a few things about what's going on? We have the Three of Wands coming out, and in this card here, this is really about like being able to prepare yourself. There's some sort of need to make preparations for something and really being able to expand beyond what it is that you have right now. We're seeing that in this card that the Crow is looking off further into the distance and looking upon the star here, because they are seeing this future and this outcome that they want, and so they are making steps to head toward that outcome. So I really believe that this is kind of advice for you, is that you are going to be making a plan and you're going to be sticking to that plan in order to see it through. So I think that there's gonna be a bit of a shakeup that's happening, but you are going to be able to get yourself to a point where you can come prepared and really feel good about where you are. If you don't if you won't already have preparations in place, this is trying to come out to let you know that you need to start working on that in order to feel more stable, in order to feel like you have a hold on your life again. We're also seeing in Strength Reverse, this is very much a like self-love card. You need to make sure that you take care of yourself because it's indicating some sort of like weakness and some sort of self-doubt that you have. You are like thinking, oh, well, like, how am I going to be able to get past this? Like, can I go on a new journey kind of thing? Like, am I, it's again kind of that feeling of paranoia where you feel like, I don't know if I can do this, and like, what do people think about me and stuff like that. And it's again that feeling of being hesitant or defensive and whatnot. And in the Strength Reverse, there's still courage inside of you, and there's still this control that you have, but it just feels out of balance. And so you need to figure out how to flip that again and really focus on yourself. So that's why I initially said like self-care is like, I really think advice wise is you need to make sure that you are giving yourself a lot of self-care, especially through this time here, so you can feel just more confident and more put together. And kind of goes hand in hand with the Three of Wands here, where it can help you in being prepared. You can be able to tap upon that strength because you know the steps that you need to take in order to go forward. We also have the Knight of Cups, and in this card here, this is kind of like indicative of a few things. The first thing I want to say is that there could be you going through a span of time where you are imagining what this future could be like for you. So especially kind of towards the beginning of your new Fool moment where you're going to be going on this new journey, is you could be having just like really expansive imagination where you're just like trying to bring about like new things into your life and new wants and goals and dreams kind of thing. But alternatively, for those of you who are interested, the Knight of Cups can really indicate kind of like a knight in shining armor. This is showing some sort of romance and some sort of like moment where you are just getting like just charmed up kind of thing, like somebody is slipping in and being like, hey, I got you kind of thing. So it could be that maybe there's somebody in your life who is seeing this and you're wanting to let them in, but we all have lived our own lives for so long, for however long we've been on this earth kind of thing, that it's like can be sometimes nerve-wracking to let somebody new in, especially if you have been dealing with some past like heartaches and past betrayals and issues, and so you do get paranoid about wanting to let them in kind of thing. So I really think that honesty is the best policy, and if you are very honest with your emotions and you approach this in the way of you letting them know like, hey, I have been going through it, and like I really like you kind of thing, but I also don't want to make this sort of relationship kind of weird. You can kind of gauge where they're at because we all grow at different paces. It could be somebody who has been there too. They know exactly what you're going through and they wouldn't mind helping support you during this time, but they're not going to know unless you open up to them. Or it could be you being like, hey, I just don't know if a relationship could work at this time. And they're like, well, listen, I can either wait for you, or maybe they'd show their true colors and be like, yeah, I don't want that, like kind of thing. So it would be better to know sooner rather than later kind of thing. So if someone is coming into your life and they're really giving you these vibes like they're super into you, just make sure that you let them know what it is that you are like. You don't have to trauma dump like you don't have to get into the nitty gritty or anything, but like at least giving them a heads up, being like, hey, just so you know, like, I'm trying to find myself a bit. There's been some stuff that's been happening kind of thing, can be helpful in the beginning of the relationship so you can know how serious they are about it. Because if it's somebody that like literally just wants to get with you because like they think you're hot and it's really superficial and they just want you for ulterior motives kind of thing. And you're like a person who really wants an actual stable relationship and you flat out tell them that, they're gonna be like, bye. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want that in your life. You don't want somebody who's just not going to support you when you are going through tough times kind of thing. So I'm going to pull a few more cards for any further messages, any further advice that we can get for group number 3. Is there anything else that we can find out about this situation? I'm seeing a few things. We have the 5 of Wands coming out in the reverse position, but then we have right next to it the World. The King of Wands. And one more. And then the 4 of Pentacles. So we're seeing here in the 5 of Wands reversed that there is some sort of, I'm seeing it as conflict avoidance. So there's something going on where you need to be present and making a decision, and you're kind of just like, if I don't look at it, it doesn't exist kind of thing. So it could possibly be that you may be using this Knight of Cups who's coming into your life as a conflict avoider, where you're like, if I just focus on this person instead of myself, like everything will be fine, right? For those of you who have who aren't using that, or they don't believe that they're avoiding conflict, it could instead mean that you are really, really focused on your goals for the future. So kind of like how we have the Fool card here, I'm kind of seeing that being a little bit more aligned, is that you are instead focusing on what you want for the future and what you need to do in order to accomplish those things. Again, we've got the 3 of Wands here is trying to say, make a plan and really prepare for the future and focus on that plan is what we're seeing, because we're seeing here in the World that there is this like completion. There is this hopeful and helpful outcome that is coming toward you, where you are going to accomplish a lot of things, or maybe you're going through something that you're reaching this point of accomplishment. Also in the World, with it being on top of the 8 of Wands here, this is also giving me more indication that that's talking about travel. So maybe you're somebody who, like, you have been wanting to travel sometime for quite some time and you haven't been able to. This really might be saying, like, take a vacation. Dude, get the heck out of here. Like, there's something going on, because again, there's the World, obviously very much like travel the world kind of thing. I'm getting this feeling like for some of you is that you really need to or want to get out of where you are currently to maybe help clear your head. And I think for some of you that can truly help. We're also seeing the King of Wands here, which shows that there is going to be I think it's more about like how you are inherently a natural born like leader. You have this intense vision and you have this ability to make things work for you. And I think this advice is trying to get you to go back to that, like trying to have this energy where you are the leader, like you are the boss kind of thing. And they want you, the universe wants you to have this during this time, because that's your natural state of being, and you faltering is odd is what I'm getting. It's like, it's not usual that you are off your, like, you're not on your like game kind of thing. So I really think that it's here to try to let you know that you do need to tap back into that to make these changes. And lastly, we're seeing in the 4 of Pentacles that there is a need for you to be in control and to have this stability and this security in your life. The card can also be indicating to be careful of your finances. Just be really conservative when it comes to where you're spending your money. Don't spend it frivolously. If you need to for a little while, make sure that you don't spend it on like extra food, like little treats and stuff like that. Try to hold back a bit because there is some need for it. So for some of you, this is gonna make more sense than others, but I do think that it's trying to call out to you and let you know that there does need to be a sense of you pulling back when it comes to spending money, which is hard to do when all you want to do is travel. So just be careful of that. I'm going to pull a few more cards for any last messages. So for group 3, can we get any last messages? Things going on in their life. This first one says Ghost Pipe, which says immerse in your shadow's wisdom. So really, this is really about knowing your flaws. So you being able to know the like demons that are in your head and being able to work with them instead of against them, being able to tap into those flaws and have them work with you instead of against you. We also have Compass, which says follow your inner compass. So for that, I'm also getting vibes of travel yet again. So for some of you, you really are getting out of here for a little while. But also just, again, following your inner guidance, knowing where you want to point yourself. Because there are times where we point ourselves in the wrong direction because we have whims, where we think we want one thing, but and maybe we even pursue it for a little bit, but we know deep down that that's not the thing for us. And eventually we get to that point where we're like, oh, well, that was a silly thing I did. I have to point myself towards this. So try to listen to your inner self about what it is that you have always loved and always believed in and what you want to do with your life, and try to follow that path. Lastly, we have Fireweed, which says ignite new possibilities and adventures. So really, I think this is indicating like you are going to be the person that is igniting this new possibility and adventure in your life. And it's trying to let you know that you're going to be the one that takes upon this, again, being a leader. You are going to be the person that makes this change in order to see this newness and this adventure in your life. With these self-care cards, we have this card coming out that says alone time. So if you're somebody who tends to surround yourself a lot with a lot of different people, maybe being able to pull away from all that noise and kind of sink into yourself for a little while would be helpful. Sometimes when we are avoiding wanting to learn things about ourselves, we surround ourselves with so many people because we stay busy with hearing about them and their lives and things that are going on with them, that it makes it so hard for us to listen to our quiet little voice that's going on inside of us, that we can't get anything completed that needs to be worked on. We also have watch a movie. This is so cute here, where this person's like sitting there with their cat and their like coffee or tea, and they're just relaxing. So if you're somebody who likes to get sucked up into fictional worlds, maybe take a little bit of time. Again, a lot of this alone time feeling. If you have a pet, relax with your pet and just watch a movie and try to just allow yourself to be in that space for a while. There is also this like sort of beauty in, sometimes I'll like watch media and you will find certain things that just hit you so deeply that they just completely change how you think about things. And so maybe you could possibly during this time find a movie that makes you really think about your life and makes you think about the things that are going on in it that you didn't even realize. Like, it's normally when I'm not expecting it, I'll go into something and I'm like, what the heck? Why did this make me feel like so intense about this? So who knows, that might be a message for some of you, but it could be possibly that you watching a movie could just make you feel a little bit more calm and a little bit more relaxed with being with yourself and being able to slow down a little bit. I'm getting this feeling like a lot of you need to, there's a lot of haste and movement in this, so you need to calm down and slow down a little bit and kind of try to just relax a little more. I'm also gonna roll this a couple of times to get any zodiac signs that could be either yours or anyone important in your life during this time. So firstly, we have coming out is Leo. We're talking about that natural born leader. We've got Leo coming out, so it really wants you to know that. We also have Taurus. And then lastly, we have Aquarius. So this could be your sun, moon, or rising, and it could just help indicate further that this is your reading. I'm also going to pull one last little message for you for my group number 3s. Oh, actually, let's do 2 because that one just wanted to fly out, but I feel like I want to pull one physically with my hand. There we go. So the first one that fell out here, oh my gosh, this one says ever expansive, infinitely deep, and it has all these points that say you on it. So this is really indicating to me that you are just someone who is a lot deeper than surface level, and I think you're almost afraid to get to that point. Like you're afraid of really learning more about yourself or believing that you are expansive and deep. Like maybe you aren't somebody who's afraid of learning about yourself, but maybe you just don't feel like, oh, I'm not meant for that life or whatever. I think that you need to learn that you are and that you really can accomplish anything that you want. And this is kind of that sign to focus on you and really allow yourself that grace that you are someone worthy of deep things. And then this card says, hate never yet dispelled hate. Only love dispels hate. And it says, quit being a hater, simple. So for some of you, maybe you truly are a hater. Maybe in your most natural of self, you're like, listen, I hate this, I hate that. I don't like these things. But truthfully, being surrounded by that sort of negativity can really pull you down. So if you're somebody that like revels in like gossiping about other people, maybe just sort of maybe lean back on that a little bit. Maybe focus on yourself a bit more instead of trying to lean into that hatred. Also, being more loving with like yourself, obviously, like don't be a hater to yourself. Be more loving with yourself and really allow yourself to feel and be and understand you is kind of another message that I'm getting from this. So if you liked this reading or it resonated with you, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more Tarot Pick a Card readings in the future. And also, if you feel safe to do so and would like to, leave a star emoji in the comment box below to let myself and others know that you did get this far in your reading. I hope that you're able to navigate this time with a lot of peace and be able to maybe work on something with this Knight of Cups, this knight in shining armor that's coming into your life, and that you're able to just really be open with the people around you. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Hello, group number 4, and welcome to your reading all about the big changes that are happening in your life. So with the Wild Unknown Tarot deck, I actually chose these cards before I even filmed the intro. So this is as much of a mystery to me as it is to you. I did not look at these cards, so I am going in completely blind into your reading. So if you chose this pink agate crystal, then this is here to really help when you are seeing some sort of opposition and you're trying to get somebody to see the same like kind of understand your point of view. You're trying to get them on the same page, or you're trying to come to an understanding of some sorts. It can also really help in overcoming anger and bitterness that you hold on to. So this can be here to help sort of purify that. And for those where it is made relevant to, this can also help promote love in parent and child relationships. So if there's been some sort of issue going on where you've been having a rocky relationship with your parent, or if you are a parent having a rocky relationship with your child, that's there to kind of help quell that a little bit. So let's go ahead and get started with your reading. The first card that we are seeing is the Eight of Pentacles. Then we have the Ace of Pentacles. Next is the Two of Swords in the reversed position, the Five of Wands, and lastly we have the Page of Wands. So getting right into this, I'm kind of seeing this as if you are taking new steps in your life, or either you've been taking new steps or you're about to take these new steps, that you're trying to go through a new journey that's going to help better yourself and lead you down a road where you have a positive outcome for yourself, in the sense of like, I think that you're trying to discover a new thing about yourself. You're not trying to keep yourself stagnant, is the vibe that I'm getting. So I'm seeing here in the Eight of Pentacles, this is really your practice makes perfect kind of card. It's about putting in repeated and quality work in order to see an end result that is favorable. And it can also indicate higher education. So it could be that maybe you are in college now, maybe you signed up for classes, or perhaps you are thinking about doing it. So that's why I'm saying it's like, it could be that you haven't gotten to that point, but maybe you've been thinking about it. So this is kind of that sign that you're going to take that step. It could also be, if you're not going to college, it could be that you're doing your own research that's making that's really helping you in understanding more about yourself and you wanting to pursue this new path. But I am seeing this sort of this willpower and this very consistent workflow that you have. So it's not like you're doing it just like once in a while, like, oh, whenever it kind of like hits your fancy, you're like picking up a book and reading a couple things. No, like I think that you're really going out there and doing things repeatedly to try and continue to make this instant perfect in your life. Next, we're seeing in the Ace of Pentacles that this is you manifesting this newness into your life. You're having this new opportunity or this new chance that you're really working through, and you are definitely seeing it in a positive light. I'm seeing you as being excited about this because this is definitely going to bring about like new finances, and it's also going to be something that eventually means that you are going to perspire on your own, and you're going to be able to really what am I thinking of? You're gonna be able to like do it on your own kind of thing. You're not gonna have to rely on other people. You're gonna be like self-sufficient. That's the word that I was trying to go for. So you are going to be self-sufficient down this road when you reach this end point. You're not there yet, but you are working toward it. Next, we have the Two of Swords in the reverse position. And in this card here, this is that sort of feeling where there's a lot going on and you're almost kind of like information overload, where like you have been given too much information and now you're sitting there being like, okay, like I have a decision I have to make now, but because there's so much information that you have, it's hard to come to that decision. So you're sitting there almost in this like standstill like moment where you're just like, oh, what do I do kind of thing. So that's why I'm kind of thinking that like you haven't made this like leap yet, where you haven't been doing this quite yet, is because you are making the decision between like, should I go to college or should I not, kind of thing. And I think that like this is where most of the crossroads are for some people. For others, however, I'm seeing this as like you're in school and you're suddenly seeing this new thing that you want to do, and this could be like a changing majors kind of situation where you really aren't sure because you suddenly have all this new information for yourself and you're like, I really don't know if I want to be in the major that I'm in or if I want to switch to a different one, kind of thing. So you really have a lot of thought that you have to put into this in order to make that decision later on. I'm seeing in the Five of Wands that there is some sort of disagreement. However, there's something going on. So it could be that maybe for some people, it could be that if you were to change your major, there could be other people who are disagreeing with that sort of change. So again, how we were talking about that parent/child like relationship going on, if you are the child in this instance, it could be that like you changing your major would really upset what your parents thought that you were going for. And really, it's your life to live. So like my thought process is like whatever you want to do is what you should follow. But I am just showing that there could be some sort of upset going on, and maybe that's why you're worried on making this new decision, is because you've got all this sudden new information and your parents are sitting there like they're afraid of this change because they either don't know anything about it or they're just like side-eyeing you a little bit, like being like, you always said you wanted to do this, and now that you're coming to this new conclusion, they're not supporting you in the way that you wish that they would, is kind of the feeling that I'm getting from some of you. Otherwise, this card could also indicate that there's going to be a lot of competition. So it could be that there are either a lot of people that are trying to go for this thing that you're doing, and maybe there's only a certain amount of slots, and like you have to make a decision quick onto whether or not you want to do this, or else it might pass you by. Or it could be just a really competitive field, a competitive hobby that you're getting into, and you are needing to figure out a way to stand out in order for you to be seen, because so many people want to do the exact same thing that you're interested in. So you have to find a new way to bring like fresh life to something that's been around for a while. But I'm seeing here in the Page of Wands that there is this enthusiasm. You love this feeling of discovery to where it almost makes it feel like you have this like free spirit kind of situation. It kind of gives me like the Fool feelings, where it's like a brand new thing and you're really excited about discovering all these new things about the situation that you're in. And so it's filling you up with this sense of like optimism, and also of you just being so curious, like you're really excited that you're interested about this thing that you're looking into. So I'm going to pull a few more cards. Let's kind of get a little bit more into this situation. Can we get some clarity in cards, actually? I would love some clarity about what is going on. So firstly, we have the Ace of Cups coming up in the reverse position. So that is showing up. And with that card, it's kind of like you being blocked or like repressing your emotions. So I kind of am getting that feeling as if like it's something that you really, really want to explore, but you are nervous because like you can't share your emotions with other people because they might be disappointed in you. I'm really getting that feeling out of this card, especially next to it with the King of Swords. This card can indicate someone who's being manipulative or can be abusive in their power, kind of thing. And so I'm kind of seeing it like this is something that's really bringing you this newness and this happiness that you haven't felt for some time, and you are either thinking so intensely on it that you think that this outcome is going to happen where someone's going to think negatively, or you know that like you know their reaction, so you're really avoiding it because you are afraid of being able like you're afraid of talking to them, and that's why you do have these blocked emotions right now, is because, or like you're having to repress how you feel about this thing because um you're kind of already there to the point where you know that they're going to react a certain way. But we're seeing here in the Nine of Swords that this card is about depression and having a lot of anxiety and being filled with despair. So it could be that it's getting to the point, or it will get to the point, where you are worrying so much about this person's reaction that like you literally start having anxiety and nightmares about it, kind of thing. So I really think that it would be good for you to make a decision based on your heart and what it is that you want out of your life, because it's your life to live, it's no one else's. So if you're trying to do something just to appease other people, you are not going to be able to feel fulfilled within yourself, because other people have these expectations. Even if it used to be your expectation, or it used to be like your dream when you were younger, things can change at any time. So people should not be so clung up on like, oh, I want my kid to be successful, or um or like famous or anything like that. It should be more like about, I want my child to be happy. So it's like being happy within everything it is that you want to do. Like maybe you want to have the most mundane job you could possibly imagine in the eyes of other people, but it just brings so much joy to you. Like maybe you don't want to have an intensely glamorous lifestyle. You just want to like really be just so skilled in the thing that you do, and other people think that it's a boring job or something like that, but you're like, this is what brings me joy. Why would I not want to do this? And so people around you could look at you weird, but for you, that's what makes you happy. So why does it matter? You know what I mean? Like, that could be an example for some people, but I'm just saying it's kind of like that. Just see it as whatever it is that you legitimately want out of your life, and not focus or worry so much about other people, because those other people they're not you. They're not the one that has to live with like the consequences of whatever it is that you go for, kind of thing. The only consequences that they have to live with is the fact that you might potentially resent them if you feel like you're trapped in the makings of what they expect of you, if that makes sense. So I'm going to pull some advice cards for you as well. So what advice can we give for group number 4? What advice do we have? I want a card that's just like, be true to yourself. First, we have Temperance in the reverse position. So making sure that you very much have a balance going on, and having long-term vision, because this is a lack of long-term vision. So you really being able to sit down and focus on your future, and if you can follow successful goalposts to reach that end goal. You know what I mean? Like, and also doing it in a way where it will make you feel balanced. So if you do something where you're like, oh, I need to follow this because like my parents wanted me to or something, but like it's going to take such a strain on everything else in your life, and it's going to make you feel completely like disconnected from everything. That is not a balanced way of being, kind of thing. Any more advice for group number 4? The Hermit. Do a lot of soul searching. So really take time to go in on yourself and use your inner guidance. There's a card that I'm thinking of that is later in my like little affirmations card, but I'm gonna say it at the very least now, where it says to like follow your inner compass. So that's something that I would like you to hear now too, is like finding that inner self that's pointing you in the right direction, because there are times where we go off and do things that are completely like fruitless, and we just do it because we're super interested in it, and then we eventually realize, oh, that was never meant for me. Okay. And it's not the end of the world. It's, you still learn skills during that time. So follow what you are feeling the most drawn toward, and don't like try to fight it, kind of thing. Don't try to fight the things that are showing up repeatedly and really making you feel good. Definitely do a lot of introspection, a lot of soul searching, and try to find more of yourself. We also have the Three of Swords in the reverse position, and in this card here, this is really helps to release like certain pain that you're going through. It can help. It says also like that there's this need to forgive. So it could be you needing to forgive yourself for feeling harsh on yourself, or needing to not be so angry with yourself over having to take time to make this decision. And also this card indicates optimism. So advice I would say for you too is try to be optimistic during this time. I know it can be really hard, but try to just have this good, bright outlook on these situations. And lastly, we have the Nine of Pentacles in the reverse position, sorry. And in this one here, this can indicate that you are really, really investing a lot of yourself into your work right now. So try to, again, have balance. With Temperance being out here, just make sure that you aren't having, you're not only having work, you're focusing on all aspects of your life. It can also indicate a financial setback. So try your best to put away money or use a little bit less during this time that you're going through, just in case, kind of thing. We obviously don't want to run into any issues where we suddenly don't have the money for the things that we want to do. So just be very careful during this time as well. We're going to shuffle a few more cards for you for any last messages. The first one we have coming out is Gemini. So it says versatile, social, and curious. And Gemini really gives me those intense vibes of like how we had here with the Page of Wands, is like being really interested in the things around you, things going on, wanting to know more. Geminis are very much like, they love to research new things. They love to learn about new things. So you leaning into the things that have caught your interest, and instead of feeling bad or talking down on yourself because of it, instead you're allowing this sense of curiosity and want to research to really happen. Next, we have Cancer coming out, which says nurturing, loyal, and sensitive. So it could be that you also, with Gemini, this could be either in your sun, moon, or rising, or someone in your life that has these traits. But with Cancer also, specifically being like nurturing toward yourself and allowing yourself to really think of it like your friend was in this position and you're giving advice to your friend. What advice would you give to them that you yourself aren't following? You know what I mean? Like, as a friend, if someone was going through this situation where they were like, let's take, for example, you are in school and you're thinking about switching majors, but nervous about like parent kind of things. In that instance, I would be like, as a friend, I'd be like, do what you need to do. Like, don't worry about your parents. Like, even if they don't understand, again, it's not their life kind of thing. But you have to do what's going to make you happy kind of thing. You have to take whatever advice you would give to other people onto yourself in order to really be true to yourself. That's the vibe that I'm getting there with that card. Can we get one more, please? Last, we have this rose quartz, which says self-love and compassion. So once again, that compassion is coming out. And you having the self-love to recognize when you're unhappy and when things need to change in order for you to just feel good about yourself. So I really think that this is about you learning and researching and just feeling curious about new things and needing to allow yourself to travel that path for a while. That's what I'm really getting out of this. I'm going to pull some self-care cards for you as well. So what self-care can group for you during this time? We're seeing journal. So if you aren't somebody who already does this, maybe get into the habit of journaling, even if it's just writing like a paragraph, just a day. If it's something like that where you have your notes app on your phone, you can just open that up and quickly write a little bit about how you're feeling that day. Even that is more than what you could possibly be doing now. And that can really help you start to get out your ideas and lead you down the right path. Also, especially dealing with blocked emotions, journaling can really, really help you understand your emotions. One of the things, I'm going to go on a tangent, one of the things that I used to do that I should get back into the habit of doing is I used to wake up in the morning and I would have a notebook where I would just write until I filled up that entire page. So it would generally take about like 10-ish minutes, but it's just sort of like stream of consciousness writing where it doesn't even have to make sense. It doesn't have to look pretty. It does not have to be anything that you're going to show anybody else. You just open to the page, write down absolutely every single thing that you've been thinking, feeling, whatever comes to your mind, and then you're done. You don't have to read it later. You don't have to make sense of it. It's just getting out your emotions onto the page, whatever emotions you're possibly feeling. And then like kind of what I would do is like when I did this is I would think about it later in the day. I wouldn't even really fully remember what I wrote, but I would remember just feeling better about the situations that I was in because I was like, oh, I had an outlet for it kind of thing. So maybe think about that sort of thing if that interests you. And then one more we have, this one says positive affirmations. This is so cute. So with these positive affirmations, if you're somebody who hasn't done this before, just take a phrase that's super easy. Like this one on here just says, I love myself, like over their like clavicles. Just take that and then in the mirror every day, just look at yourself and say, I love myself. And even if you don't believe it, you will eventually get to the point where you do, and you can change up your affirmations as well if it's something that will suit you better, or if things have changed, or if you start to actually feel that about yourself, you can start adding more things like I am brave, I am beautiful, I am worthy, I'm grateful kind of thing. Those things you can start adding to it as well. I'm going to go ahead and pull one more little affirmation card. This one here. This one says, oh my God, celebrate your life right now, immediately. So this is really trying to call to you that whatever is in your life that you have cause to celebrate for, that you should. Don't hold yourself back from being excited about things going on in your life. It also gives me kind of this newness energy too. So it's like being able to celebrate being curious about something, or being able to celebrate bringing something new into your life. Don't hold off on that. Just make sure that you are allowing that space for yourself where you can be excited about things, or can really show when you are excited or positive, anything like that. And lastly, I'm going to roll this Astro Dice for any last zodiac signs. This could be either your sun, moon, or rising, or someone important in your life during this time. The first one we're getting is Cancer. So we already had the card of Cancer, but then we also have Cancer coming out here too. So again, making sure that whatever advice you would give to a friend, try to follow that same advice. Try to be nurturing and compassionate toward yourself. Next, we are seeing Taurus. And then lastly, we have Capricorn coming out as well. So if you liked this reading or it resonates with you, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more tarot pick card readings in the future. And also, if it is safe for you to do so, leave a rose emoji down in the comment box below to let myself and others know that you did get this far in your reading, to share and show off that self-love and compassion that you do have for yourself. And also just take all the time that you need. Try not to feel rushed in making this decision, especially if it's something that's going to be affecting your future. But do know that it is for yourself. It's not for other people to be deciding. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you in our next one. Have a great day.